Hey, how's it going, guys? We are back with more Walking Dead reactions. This time on to episode 6 of season 11. Last time we had some good, hit points. Hit points highlights. I don't know why I call them hit points. So we had some good highlights. Did you? I mean, it ended with us getting our first kind of real lead on Connie and her whereabouts, or at least the group. Or at least like part of the group. I think it was Aaron and Jerry and Lydia and Carol being there. They went back to Hilltop to read to kind of research its kind of like what was left of it, and they found some Whisperer survivors who were just kind of who were doing their own thing, who were trying to do their own thing, and also kind of seeking shelter in the kind of underground basement level kind of place to the hilltop too. So I think some survivors were around, and they were seeking shelter and everything. So then, of course, them being Whisperers kind of brought back some memories for both Aaron and Jerry. And then Jerry found his wife's kind of scarf, and like discovered that like their people could still be in danger if they were nearby, and then people were still missing and everything, so that became an issue. And then the guy kept lying and just trying to cover his ass and the ass of his people. But then in the end, I think it was pretty much uncovered that they really were just kind of looking out for themselves, and their kind of herding of the walkers was still just kind of like a force of habit from the years of stuff that they did under Alpha's orders and Alpha's control and everything. So yes, and the guy actually said that he actually did spot Connie leaving the cave afterwards and actually entering the woods and doing all that kind of stuff. So they're gonna wait. I think they did still decide to wait. I think they decided to wait until the group came back, or until until like the next day, so they could actually properly prepare for like an actual search with this first real lead. So in that time, God knows how close they're actually going to get to to Connie or her whereabouts, or like how much closer they might get to their next lead if that's the only other end result left. So yeah, that happened, and then Carol obviously trying to prevent Aaron from actually going too far and actually killing the guy, because then with her, like he was pretty much operating out the same kind of fear-based kind of retaliation, and his own kind of like need for vengeance and need to get back at the Whisperers after everything they did and everything, and Carol kind of Carol having learned, and pretty much mostly having learned her lesson from the ways in which she went after Alpha, and exactly who paid the price and what it cost her and everything. So her kind of giving that advice was cool. So we had that. We had over at what's it called, the Commonwealth, and we had Eugene and Stephanie. Stephanie trying to sneak Eugene into the comm room to try and have him access the radio and send word out to the people, which he did. He got in touch with Rosita and Judith. Don't know why the names are so blank right now. Haven't watched the show in a while, so that could be why. But yeah, he got word out to them, but then he was detected and the comms were jammed, and then the group got arrested, and then I think it was the main. I think no, not the mayor, not the woman in charge, but I think the guy who works with her or under her or something. So he got them bailed out, and he actually kind of told them to hold off on actually punishing them or throwing them into cells or whatever. So he actually kind of got them a bit of leeway and everything. But then, they're still gonna suffer some repercussions for what they did. So they tried it and they failed. So that happened, and then not Eleanor, well, that's the actress's name, Yumiko. She met her brother. Her brother had actually been a part of the Commonwealth for a while. He actually was a part of the original group that actually founded the Commonwealth and everything, and he's been there since the beginning, and he was there when it all started from just a few people, and then they started to rebuild society again. So he's been there. He's been baking cakes the entire time. I think she mentioned he was like a qualified like heart surgeon or something. So he was actually an established kind of medical professional. But then the dude just wanted to make cakes. Dude just wanted to make some cakes. He like bakery was a hobby for him, and then he turned it into something more within the Commonwealth. He's been baking some great cakes and donuts and pastries and God knows what else. So he's a baker. He loves baking. So I think I think the Commonwealth actually allowed him to reignite that passion, and for him to just kind of kind of like go back to baking without a care in the world. Because again, he's in one of the safest he's in one of the safest and most stable places in the world too. So he can easily bake without fear of running out of stuff or even dying and everything. Because I think he most likely isn't like a fighter either. Like he highly likely that he actually stays within the city walls and just does what he needs to do and everything. So yeah, so she reunited with him, and they had a little bit of a chat, so that was cool. So had some family stuff, had some some easygoing family stuff, and then some darker family stuff and other stuff. So yeah, it's been a neat time. So going forward now, hopefully we can actually see Connie again and actually have the group fight, like making efforts to find her, and hopefully like a reunion can happen soon enough. So we'll see where it goes. We will see exactly where it goes from here. So yeah, that is pretty much all I can remember off the top of my head. So yeah, on to episode number 6 of The Walking Dead of season 11. So let's go. Yes, no, oh, spiders, that's a great start. Oh, you're running right into the spiders, for fuck's sake. That's not a great start. We need to keep running, yeah, oh shit. What are they running from? What's found them? It's a big house though, that's a big house. A lot of rooms, so... Could either be good or bad. A lot of place to hide, but then also if you're found, then... Could easily be just as much as your downfall. Yeah. But either way, we get Connie back. Connie and Virgil. So we get, I think this might be our, like, this is like pretty much our first kind of reunion with them and their first kind of team up episode 2. And it's good to see them teaming up too, yeah. Is Kelly going to be the one to save her? I mean, it would be cool to have her do that, but then I don't know, like, the likelihood of that happening. Like, she's one person up against all of this. Again, it would be badass, but given what they're up against, like, given what the two of these are, like, are up against, yeah. Oh, is it like a hunter's house or something? Like a hunter's mansion? Like animals and gun, I think that's, is that a gun, or? Oh, the beds are still ready-made and like in decent condition. Because this definitely looks like the kind of place you could still use as like a survivor's kind of cabin. Like, even if it's not like an actual home for a big group, like you could definitely use it as a waypoint or even like an outpost. So if there's no one here, then they are really, really lucky. I mean, they've stopped making noise at least. Now they're just now they're just like circling the house. They've at least stopped banging on the doors. Oh! Oh! That's yeah. Flashback. That's trauma. Trauma. Very, very jumpy trauma. Going to search house again. Oh god, she is restless. She is restless in a very extensive way. If he joins them, would he become a fallen angel? With the wings on his jacket, would he become a fallen angel? Would he?
Or, and hear me out.
Go fuck yourself.
You all could go eat shit.
The equivalent, yeah.
Just a thought.
Just a thought. Just consider it, maybe.
Already gone through
Just consider it. Shite. Oof. Gonna have to sit on my hands for this one. Oh, is he gonna kill Frost?
Go to hell, ass.
Location!
He took the finger!
Location!
Or maybe it was the gun for Daryl, maybe in case he failed. Can't tell if the gun was for Daryl or Frost. Like, maybe Frost, like, if they just gonna kill him once they're done with him, or maybe if Daryl... Because I feel like they're going to be constantly testing Daryl to see exactly how loyal he can be to them, and how useful he can be. But then how far will they actually let him go? Oh, eyes scratched out. Whoa. Damn, that's creepy. Oh, so the silence. Oh, the silence. No, you look great. You look great. Hey, it's the apocalypse, okay? You look great for the apocalypse. Ooh! Was that real? Was that an actual peephole? Was that real? Those are some yellow looking eyes. Those were some yellow eyes. Not alone. Yeah, you're not alone. You are not alone. Hell of a reveal.
Quick and quiet, in case they're still nearby.
Yeah.
You three, take the north end and work
Same
back
area,
when
different
you-
house.
Copy.
Oh, her slingshot. Slingshot. Oh, Connie was here. Connie was here. And her notepad. Oh, she left her notepad behind. Trapped or dead, walked on them for days, no light, no food, little water. Oh, she kept the diary. Michonne told me, where is she? Don't know if she... Oh, Connie and... Well, Connie was here. We don't know. I mean, this could have been before she found Virgil. If he was like we're being watched. He's late. It's late. Gosh, Connie was here.
I'm sure you saw something.
Is he gonna think?
But you haven't
I
slept.
figured he'd pull that card. I
So
figured he'd pull that
maybe
card. It's paranoia and yeah, and just restlessness. Yeah. Fuck. Oh, Connie. Oh, whoa. A door literally just came sliding out. Like that didn't even open. That just slid in through the hallway. Is this gonna be like that guy in the warehouse that Aaron and Gabriel met? Oh, something just slid across the floor. Oh god, this is horrifying. Oh, whoa! What the hell is this? Ah. That must have been what she saw, right? That thing looks like it could have yellow eyes. And even her feeling on the wall for the rumbling. Oh god, the sound design for the sound, like the usage of the sound for that was so on point. Yeah, they could have cleared out. Oh, they're under the house. I think that's a trapdoor, isn't it? They're under the house. Yeah, they're under the house.
Other building, you want to stick around and make sure we didn't miss anything.
This one is just like, oh, yeah, no.
Which is it?
You're either with us or you're not.
What do you want me to do?
Stop pissing off Carver.
Oh, please, that guy is
Usually
less stable than the fucking house on fire. Pissing him off, like you bump into him and he would probably run you down. Just a little bit. Oh, God, right into the mud. Ugh.
Awesome. You need help?
Okay, oh, they found her. They found her. Oh, God, back to this. Oh, back to this. Back to this. Oh. It's like there's no dead bodies here either. Like no one's been killed. No one's been left to die. It's just like an empty. Like it's been used as a shelter, but no one's actually here. Oh. Oh shit! Are those bones? Oh, those are bones. A skull. A skull. Just bone fragments. Oh gosh, she's seeing. Look, that's her seeing stuff. That is her seeing stuff. Oh, there's no lock. There's no fucking lock on. There's no fucking locks on these doors. That's Connie. That's Connie. Don't stab through the wall, please. Don't stab through the wall. That's Connie. Oh no! It's under the. It's under the thing. Oh. Oh Jesus! What is that? No, get out! Don't come to the wall. Turn around! Turn around and defend yourself, man! Oof! Oh god! Now it's just hitching a piggyback ride. Oh god! Oh god! Ugh! Virgil? Oh! Oh, right in the chest. Okay, that was a decent shot. That was a pretty good shot. Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. Okay. He's gonna bleed out now either way. Oh no, but if you do that, mate, he's gonna think you're one of them. Oh! Oh Christ. Is he actually trying to break it down though, or is he actually trying to... No, it's her, it's her, it's her, it's Connie, don't stab her hands, please don't stab her fucking hands. That was an experience. That was a fucking experience.
When Pope locked me in the cabin and lit it up.
Used her to try and test Daryl, yeah.
You must have known.
Wake up. Everything's a test now.
Yeah.
And Pope scares the shit out of me. I don't want to be face first in the fire under his boot. But if you say trust him, I'll trust him.
Your call.
No, he's gonna spot the fucking trapdoor.
Hold on.
Son of a bitch. They make it out? Oh, they made it out. Oh, they escaped. Even from here. Oh, okay, no, they actually made it to the outside. Okay, they made it to the outside. Yeah.
I made choices that I can't unchoose. But she gave me another chance, Michonne.
Sure.
So I have to pass on that chance, or it all means nothing. Can find your family. No. Listen.
Together. Oh, is he back? Or is there more than one?
Time's up.
Is there more than one? Could there be more than one too? Because if they are the things from the trailer, then there has to be more than one. There was definitely more than one in the trailer. Then maybe that one guy bled out, or unless he found a way to patch himself up again. Oh god, pouncing from freaking wardrobes! Oh god. Please let Kelly and the others find them. I think they're like around this area now. Yeah, please let them find them. Walker Guts, yep, Walker Guts. Are they gonna dare come near you now? There's a bunch of these fucks. Oh, yeah, oh, the walkers can get them. Yeah. Nice one, Connie. That's my girl. Oh, damn. Yeah, oh, jeez. Oh, damn. Yeah. So are these things even remotely human anymore? Are they even human? Oh, God. Oh, Virgil's in bad shape. He's in bad shape. Oh, they're here. Yes! Oh, Kelly's back. Sisters reunited. Oh, that was good. That was good for them. That was very, very good.
Ooh.
I thought you'd be disappointed.
But this day was a success.
How so?
You weren't too talkative. I got everything I needed out of him.
What did he find out? What did he find out? Oh, gosh. Oh, Frost. Oh, now Pope's all whispery with Carver, for fuck's sake. Oh, no. God, I don't like that. I don't like that. God, that's the end. That is the end. Oh, this episode. This bloody episode. I mean, it's needless to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. Because it's just going to be something that I'm going to say anyway. The horror factor, the scare factor in this episode. My God, was it on point. This is easily one of the creepiest and most tense kind of episode. I think, in terms of it being scary, I think, creep factor was definitely a thing. I think with this being a horror thing, I think, because I feel like with The Walking Dead, especially nowadays, I feel like it's like, whenever it happens, it's a lot more unique, because I think now at this point, like, the show itself has kind of established itself with characters capable of surviving with various skill sets in this kind of a story. Like, I think it's a lot easier to actually pull off like pull off like the scare factor in in a story like this when it's a one-off type thing, like if it's in a movie or if it's in like more of like an original take, like if they actually made like another movie about a zombie apocalypse and you have to do that thing, because then you can still have people who fight in that, but I feel like maybe in that one the scare factor might be easier to pull off, because then with this show they've tackled all sorts of different kinds of evils and they've tackled them in different ways and had the evils actually affecting the people and groups entirely in different ways too. So like we've had our fair share of like fear against our fear of like walkers and humans alike and everything. They've kind of covered most of their bases on this one. So I think But I think so far with Pope and with those creepy crawly kind of people, I guess you can call them, I think it's definitely clear enough that they are actually trying something new and something different and something a bit more kind of character based and everything instead of actual like persona based and everything. Because I feel like with Negan, I think he's like Negan and the Saviors were easily kind of like the group that were the most twisted and sadistic. I think Terminus definitely comes close, but I think with them they were based purely on survival, and they I think, I mean, I feel like with Terminus, I feel like they definitely had like a bit of sadism to them in the sense that they lured people to their location to try and actually trick them and eat them and everything. But with Negan, I feel like there was a lot more psychological torture. Like as we saw what he did to Rick and the group, as well as to even to Daryl on the inside too. I think his stuff was based purely on actually breaking someone down and watching them break down and actually initiating control. Like he was the most human kind of psychopath there was, and I think survival was definitely key. But then I think he enjoyed the power he had, and he actually used it and abused it to his full advantage and everything. But then with Terminus, I think it was pretty much it was pretty much just about survival to them. Like they did what they felt they had to do, but then there was still like an element of sadism involved there too. I think but it was mostly I think with the sadism that I think for them it was more like I think the main guy definitely kind of promoted survival over like that kind of thing. But then I think in their final kind of interaction with Rick's group that like some of them were cocky and some of them were kind of like a bit too kind of happy with the power they had and everything. But then even I think I can't remember what the main guy, I think Gareth was the main guy's name. I think because like his I think one of his final few lines was like, "Oh, you don't know what it's like to be hungry." So I think for him at least, like, the way he led the group was, "Oh, we need to do what we can to survive," and sometimes that means that other people gotta die. So I think for him, I think he definitely, I feel like he definitely tried to promote the idea that our survival is what matters, and we shouldn't dwell too much on the fact that other people might get hurt because of that. But then I think certain people within the group it did end up dwelling, but then they also, because they were part of a larger group and they knew exactly what they were doing, and then they were very easily tricking people into following them and falling prey to their traps and everything. I think some people took it way too far, but then with Negan, he actively kind of taught his people to enjoy the power and to actually take pride in what they were doing and everything. So in terms of having more sane and grounded and just really really torturous kind of human kind of hunters and like psychologically powered villains. I feel like Negan and the Saviors definitely kind of hit the mark with that one. But yeah, I think with this now, I think with Pope too, I think Pope kind of has like a yeah, I think Pope definitely kind of hits the mark on familiarity with having similar tactics and similar-ish kind of leadership and punishment tactics to Negan. But I think he and his group still kind of pride themselves on survival and strength and their own background helping them survive. But then now their current mission is to actually get back at Maggie and take out everything she loves and to even take her out as well. So because again, like their introduction was that Pope marked her for execution and her group for being taken down and everything. So, and again, they have like a very, very heavy military background, so I think that's even the way they operate with their kind of stealth and their combat and their just like the way that they move and the way that they are and everything. So I think it could very easily just be like a case of actually getting back at Maggie for whatever it is that he thinks she did against him. So yes, I think that kind of makes him, and I think the guy for Pope 2 is also genuine. I think for me he's also genuinely terrifying in like a different way to Negan too. I think with Pope he definitely kind of has like a I think with Negan it's like he was unpredictable, but then he also had like a kind of flair about him. But with Pope he just does not look like the guy with a sense of humor. I think if he laughs, I think he's the kind of guy like if he laughs, then you should be afraid because then that means he's probably about to kill you. But then with Negan, he actually genuinely did try and crack jokes to break humor, to break tension that he himself would be in control of. Like he would crack jokes and he would, try and take the piss and do all that kind of stuff. But with Pope, I feel like he's way too serious of a guy to actively try and turn something into a joke or even accept jokes in the middle of tension. So he is just like a he's like Negan, but without the same kind of really kind of twisted sense of humor. So I think that kind of shone through with Pope in this episode too, and kind of what makes him kind of feel like that much more kind of special. So there's him, and then of course Walkers. We've had Walkers since the beginning, and I think nowadays Walkers are pretty much like a hit and miss with people. because I think even one person has been shown to be able to take out like a group of walkers with enough speed and kind of agility and kind of like the right kind of timing and everything. So with that, but then with this, those creepy crawly things too. I think like I honestly don't. I think towards the end. I think towards the end when Connie and Virgil were in that kind of front kind of foyer looking place, and then they were up against the door, and then the things were just climbing down from railings and coming down the stairs and coming up from different corners. I think there was definitely like it looked like a pack or a family. I think given what they were, I think pack might be a bit more applicable, but then even like a family, because I think when I saw them initially, I didn't know what. I think I completely forgot we'd actually seen them like a little bit before, like in the actual promotional material. I think I forgot they're actually like there were similar things in the trailer, because then when it came out, it's like because I think in the trailer, I think they marketed them visually in like a very very specific way in the trailer too. In the trailer, they looked a lot more grotesque and still looked similar-ish to kind of walkers and to what they were and everything. So I think with that one, they kind of gave off the vibe that, oh, these are like more demented and twisted and really creepy walkers, and like they're still walkers. They will still happily eat your flesh and do random shit. But then, they're just in this kind of state, and they just look like this, and they act like this. They behave differently. So that's pretty much all there is to it. And I think thinking back, I think I do remember. I think Maggie, like she actually Maggie actually told a story to the group on the train about how she and like that story about how she and Herschel Jr. actually met up with a man, and he lured them back to the house, and then she killed him, and stuff happened. I think she found the chloroform too, so she knew that he was gonna sleep them and then take them inside and do whatever. And then she went inside, and I think she might have mentioned she might have mentioned it might have been a big house, or like a really fancy looking house, or like a house big enough to provide shelter and resources. So she went inside anyway. She went inside and actually scoured the place and everything. And I think she told stories about how she found like a pregnant walker in the attic. It was like she went up a flight of stairs and found the pregnant walker with the right. She found like she found a walker, or I think walkers with eyes. She found I think a walker that was somehow pregnant, like that had something inside it. Something moving around inside it, so like life inside it, and then like the eyes were gouged out and the tongue was ripped out and stuff like that happened. Which I think is what the Reapers did to the actual walkers in the train station too. They actually kind of ripped out the tongues and gouged out the eyes too. So there was that. So she found that, but then I think she said she also like she found other things that looked less than human, but like something she'd never seen before. So I feel like this would definitely qualify. This would like this feels like it would qualify. So I think I can't tell if this is actually. If this really, I think it sounds like it could definitely match up, because it's definitely the kind of place that could be used as a really efficient shelter, and then also help stockpile resources too. So I think I can't tell if this is meant to be that place, or if it's meant to be something else. But it feels like it could match up. So there was that, but then with these things, I think even I think we had like some pretty clear looks at them in that final scene where they died, but then also like earlier on when that one creeped out from under the table or the bed or something, and then actually kind of crept up behind Virgil. I think that one, it still looked human. Like I think it had like I think it looked like feral and animalistic, but then especially in like its bodily proportions, but then it didn't really look like a walker. It didn't look decayed. It didn't look like decrepit. It looked like an animalistic kind of human. It looked like a feral human. And I think, I think those could easily. I think because I think that kind of makes me that does kind of make me think back to Maggie's story. Because then I think when she said she saw stuff that was less than human, but not specifically walker-like, I think she also kind of just could have been meaning that she saw stuff that was worse than the walkers, but still kind of showed just how far gone this world actually was. I think that was the point of her story. Like she was actually recounting a time of when she actually realized just how far the world, just how far gone the old world was, and how demented this new one was and everything. So thinking about it in that way, I think they definitely could. Because again, like like humans, I think like the determined people, they resorted to cannibalism. That is something that they felt they needed to do in a time like this, and albeit like even much earlier and before we progressed down into the road of even darker shit that happened in the later seasons. But still, like they felt they needed to go that far, and I think back then that was like easily the most fucked up thing that the story had delivered. So with this one, having humans going from what they were to this to being fully like bare naked and crawling around on their fours and looking like animals and behaving like them and just kind of overall looking really decrepit. Like I think that kind of thing especially in like now at the point in time when this section of the story is set. I think it would definitely kind of fit in. It would definitely fit in. It would definitely kind of go to show just how changed the world is now, that some people end up being hunters and some people end up just kind of falling prey, and other people actually survive by turning into this and everything. So yeah, I don't know. I can't tell exactly what they were either, because I thought maybe these could pass for cannibals too. Maybe I think for a second I thought, based on what they are and what they look capable of, I thought, or at least like what they seem to be capable of. I think I thought maybe this could be the Walking Dead's take on Wendigos. I think going that far, because I think what this show's done also is the fact that it's not incredibly sci-fi or fantasy. Like it's definitely still trying to stay at least within as far within the grounds of reality as it can. Like like the walkers in this don't really have superpowers or super abilities. Like like in some story in some interpretations you have the walkers that literally have like super speed or run after their meals or do super jumps or anything. But with this one, the walkers, like, they're not even called zombies. They just have like like different terminology for them. But then with this one, it's like I think it's much less about fantasy and more about survival against this against this kind of global crisis that seems to have done this to people. So I think with this one, I think I thought like they might be pulling off like a Wendigo like kind of interpretation with those things, because I fully thought, oh, that guy might even start eating Virgil, because then he pounced, grabbed him, pounced on him, and even started running around on his back and everything. But then they never really they kind of hit them and punched them and attacked them and everything. But then they never once tried to like tear into them or actually be like never once actually tried to tear them apart or anything like that. Like I think that one other kind of, I guess creature, I think the one other creature like of that kind that actually pounced on Virgil from the actual top of the wardrobe. I think that one actually stabbed him in the back with something with a poker or like a like a metal pipe or something. So like they are definitely capable of actually causing harm with weapons and with tools and everything. So the way they are, at least the way they were shown, I think I anticipated cannibalism. I anticipated cannibalism from them too, but it's like a more feral, more kind of brutal and more gory kind of version compared to Terminus, who were human and sane and all that kind of stuff. But with these guys, like, they just didn't do that. They really just didn't do that. So I think because of that, I honestly couldn't tell like exactly what made them this way. Because then with the story of the Wendigo, it's like you start to like that is exactly what would have happened with the Terminus people too. Where the Terminus people actually resorted to cannibalism, and then if they went the route of the Wendigo, then it's like like with the Wendigo, it's like you turn into something more kind of nightmarish and ghoulish and animalistic, because of you lose your humanity both mentally and physically, and then you start craving human flesh, and that's the only thing that can keep you around anymore. And then you actually just start to lose your appearance too. You turn into something more grotesque. I think that they were in Supernatural. They were in like the second episode of Supernatural. I think it's easily one of my favorite episodes of the first season of Supernatural. They're in that. Until Dawn, really great game. I think they were like the Supernatural antagonists, or like they're pretty much the only antagonists of that game too. I think they were in that, and they looked really grotesque and stuff. And in that one, I think in that one, I think they kind of gave them like some enhancements and abilities. Like in that one, they could cling to walls, and they were really fast and really agile and really strong and everything. So with that one, I think like the way that the story of the Wendigo goes is like you gain abilities, but then you also lose your humanity and you lose that human side of yourself. So with this one, I felt like they could have gone in that direction. Maybe it's like these guys really are cannibals, but then in doing so, they lose what makes them human, and then this is what they actually turn into. So then they remind you less of humans and more like really cannibalistic kind of grudges. I think with the long hair and the crawling and all that kind of stuff, the first thing that popped into my head when I first saw them was, oh, we got Grudge. We got the Grudge in The Walking Dead now. So yeah, but no, we had these guys. I think they were not really. I think maybe they weren't in. I think maybe they're not that brutal. I think maybe they killed maybe it's like they could just as easily kill their victims first and then watch them die, and then afterwards, once they're dead. So maybe they're just not into eating people alive. Maybe that's just what their thing is. So maybe, because the basement was full of skulls. The basement that Connie was in was full of broken bone fragments and skulls, like fully formed, or mostly kind of formed skulls, like without the bottom jaw. They're like bone fragments and skulls and all sorts of dead body parts. I think easily they could easily kill them inside the house and then drag the bodies down, wait for them to die, and then start chowing down on them too. So they could easily have done that. Which I think maybe that could be the implication. Maybe that could be because then. Because then I think you also don't really get bone fragments like that. Because then it's not like it wasn't even fully formed skeletons anymore. So it's like the actual bones were ripped apart and broken and torn apart and everything. So it's like I feel like you only really get that if you actually break the body apart somehow, either when they're alive or even once they're dead. So then you kill them. So I think could have been what they were trying to do to Virgil, to actually killing him, then maybe making him bleed out or die or something, and then. Once he actually is dead, then they drag him down and tear him apart and eat him that way. So maybe they're cannibals in that sense too. So that could have been the case. It could have easily been the case. So you get all sorts of different kind of creatures and different, mutations of humanity and people drawn and resorting to different things and turning into different kinds of things. So yeah, but they were creepy. They were actively creepy. So yeah. But on the other hand, I think. Oh, I think before I do that, before I actually move on from that too, I think. Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't. I can't tell. I think I haven't really thought about it enough. I think. And it's probably. I think I'm still going to be kind of thinking about this even after I've finished filming this and move on from this. I'm going to be thinking, having more thoughts as the days go by. So. I think probably because that. But then I think I can't really tell if it. I can't really tell. Like, because I don't have any definitive feelings about it just yet, but I can't fully tell if they were not underused, but I think if they were gotten rid of too quickly, because then we only really had them for one episode, and I think, to be fair, we didn't really see them that much in the trailer either, but then I think that could also be interpreted as like, oh, this is like a glimpse of what more there is to come, so then keep an eye out, and then maybe we'll actually see the season for like a couple of episodes, and then that'll be done. But with this one, it's like, they had like a fairly strong and central position in the episode itself, within the Connie and Virgil sequences. I think the way they were introduced was great, like that kind of pop up in the actual peephole thing that terrified Connie out of her wits and everything. That was great. The way they were used before they were revealed, like the horror factor behind that and the actual creep factor behind that was honestly just so well done. And I think even more so because again, I think. One thing I really do enjoy with the scenes with Connie is like whenever the scene is focused on Connie and it's from her POV as well, like the sound actually allowing the viewers to kind of actually interact with the world the same way that she does too, and actually muffling out the sound and actually doing the same thing with that too. I think with that one, especially like in this kind of setting too, when like horror that kind of incorporates kind of like deaf people and like blind people, and like I actually incorporates those aspects into the story too, and actually showing you how that kind of person would survive in that kind of story too. I think it's especially why Hush is one of my favorite kind of horror movies of all time. Like the way that they included that character's disabilities into that too, and actually had her still surviving, still kicking ass, and still managing to actually come up with tactics and all that kind of stuff, but then the way we still experienced her environment from her point of view and her perspective too was really well done. So with this one too, especially with this one, it's like with Connie, I think she can, especially like one of my favorite things was actually her like when she's walking through the house, like you get that kind of muffled kind of sound effect too, like of her not really hearing anything and not really hearing much. I think I think with how little sound she was able to hear, I'm pretty sure she qualifies as deaf and not just like hard of hearing. Because I think I feel like with hard of hearing, like it's like like you still like with hard of hearing, it's like it's more muffled, but you can still you can still hear things in like a muffled sense, whether it's speech or noise or whatever it is. Like you still kind of sense that there's sound in the distance, and you can still kind of tell something is making sound out there, whether it's a person or an object or something. But then with Connie, like with how severe her deafness is, I feel like with that, if she's moving freely, then she can't hear anything. But then when her hands are actually up against the wall, too, like you heard that low rumbling in the distance getting louder and louder, and then finally visually you see the thing creeping up behind her, and then she senses it and she knows behind her, and then she starts running and everything. So that kind of effect too is like. When she's moving freely, she doesn't hear anything. She just kind of has to rely on what she can hear or what she might, on what she can see, and then what she might hear at the last minute too. Maybe if she can actually sense vibrations in the ground or something like that, then then you kind of like then you can hear what she hears. But then but then she knows that she kind of like feel on the walls and feel like vibrations traveling through that space, and then she actually feels the actual the vibrations and the rumbling building up slowly behind her, and then she actually senses it coming up behind her too. So in that scene was really, really well done, and even her actually kind of just anytime the scene, the shot, the sequence actually focused on her and focused on what she could sense, then you hear nothing and you only hear like different kind of muffles and different kind of little bits here and there, when things actually happen and stuff, especially when she was in the walls too. I genuinely thought that they would both get attacked in different ways. I thought, because the thing, we saw Virgil in the room being actually trying to keep the thing out and then actually barricading the door, but then even when the thing crept into the room behind him, like we saw that he was being attacked there. So I thought maybe, because then again I thought, okay, that there has to be more than one of these things in the house too, because then just having one would also feel like underusing them. So there's that. But then the way the camera, the way that shot was framed too, you see her up against the wall, like peeping through the hole in the wall, but then like the background was still blurred out, but then you could still see the entrance when she came in. So I thought, oh, maybe they're showing that to show that someone, like, one actually comes in through that and then actually starts chasing her down, like through the walls and actually through that space between the walls too. So then maybe she gets attacked and then maybe she has to try and fend her way off too. But no, it was just her actually initially trying to get Virgil's attention to actually have him break down the wall, but then afterwards actually warning him and actually saying, oh, there's one behind you, so watch out, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think like Connie in this, Lauren Ridloff, just when you think she was amazing. I think the way that she pulled off actually having to actually snuff things out and actually investigate the house with her with what little hearing she actually has and all that she can actually see. I think the way that she handled this, I think the way that Connie handled the entire situation was just just on point, and even Lauren actually pulling that off and actually having to work through actually having to work through kind of like actually like because with her she's she definitely more like this, and then what like the way that she represents Connie experiencing that too is all is pretty much on point as well. Like that is exactly what she would have to do. What we hear, I think to be fair, I think what we don't hear from like the actual like when the actual audio changes from her perspective, like that's as close as we can get to what to what her lack of hearing actually is too. So like them actually being able to replicate that, and actually her, I think, without a doubt, her actually being able to give her own input and her own insight into how into how to pull this off as accurately and as best as possible. I have no doubt she actually came, or at least I hope she had some actual kind of creative input into this, and actually trying to actually show audiences exactly what Connie's experience of actually being in this kind of place and being in this kind of setting would be like. So just that was terrifying. It was terrifying. Easily one of the creepiest things that The Walking Dead has ever pulled off too, and they pulled it off spectacularly, and then they pulled off in like a really kind of like a really engaging and really kind of thought provoking and really kind of edge of your seat kind of thing. I was constantly jumping back and leaning back in and jumping back in. So for me they did the job. I think for me they actually did a good job. So hopefully as many people as possible actually were able to interact with it in the same way and actually kind of felt that they did actually pull that off in the right kind of way. So yeah, that was great. That was really, really great. But then I think knowing Kelly, I think her running out the first sign of like a lead on Connie was very, very much understandable. Like her just kind of running off immediately, grabbing a horse and just kind of tracking down any kind of sign that she could, and actually following the lead and going out to the forest and see what she could. I think in her defense, I think at least partially it did work out in her favor, because then she did find the she did manage to actually still find the camp where Connie was, and I think I couldn't initially tell if that was from before or after she met Virgil, but then we know she met Virgil looking the way that she was. Like, she was covered in dust and dirt and all sorts of like grime and everything. So I think she definitely, I think that was after she I think that may well have been after she walked with the dead. Like, she was walking with the dead and she was covering herself. She had to cover herself to walk with the dead and everything. But then she split from them and eventually found herself somewhere else. And then she probably kind of ended up just being trapped and stuck and everything. So then I think there's little to no way she actually looked. She actually was in that state when she was in the camp too. She would have been cleaner and a bit more kind of well kept and kind of like a bit more well kept and everything. So then But then I think she also kind of she also talked about how she met the guy. I think in the journal in her notepad she also actually wrote about the guy who knew Michonne, which was Virgil and everything. So that was after Virgil found her, and then he probably got her to safety, and then he actually found her a camp, and they kind of stayed sheltered there for a bit. But then that's when they started being watched. That was when they were being watched, because then even Virgil mentioned that those things actually found them, and they lured them back to the place that they killed them. They actually lured them back to the house, so that they could actually trap them back in the house and kill them there. So that is crafty as all hell. I think that's pretty much like that. That's pretty much like Whisperer level crafty, but then still like creepy as well. Actually kind of actually leading them back to the house, and making them think that they're fighting shelter, and then actually ending up being like, no, you're in our house now. You're literally in our domain now. So now it's time for us to have our fun with you, and then actually kill you slowly and everything. So there was that. But yeah, I think having Connie and Virgil together, that was like a really kind of that was a really kind of like a cool thing to see too. And I think especially I think in this episode too, I think I'm hoping Virgil does survive, because I think he did get stabbed quite a few times too. I think she stabbed him with like a pipe or a pole or something, but then she did still stab him like a good few times, and then left him to bleed out and left him to die and everything. So I'm hoping he does still survive. I think I'm hoping she didn't really hit anything major, and they didn't really kind of actually wound him fatally, but he's still gonna need pretty immediate kind of medical attention. But then otherwise, then yeah, he's probably not gonna do too well. But then if he does die, he at least died getting Connie out. Because I think he did it. I think part of like his last speech was a mixture of him wanting to make amends, and him having been shown the light by Michonne, and him then actually finding Connie, and actually then discovering that not only did she have a family, but then I think he probably eventually found out that she was from the same group as Michonne too. So then he would be paying this back. He would be paying back that favor of actually trying to help someone instead of what he did before. But then I think also based on what he did before, he was also adamant on saving her by any means necessary. But then also because of his own guilt of what he did, and what he did to people who trusted him before, and what he did to his own friends and family, I think he also did kind of actually prioritize at least getting her out, even if it meant that he would be left behind or actually held back or something. So I think if he could at least get her out and actually back to her family, then he'd consider that mission accomplished. But then if he got trapped, or if he got held behind by those creatures or something, then I think that was definitely like a risk and a sacrifice he was willing to make and everything. So I think it really showed how far he had come, and all that kind of stuff. So it was cool to see it was cool to still see them actually still having like some sense of teamwork between them, and actually still kind of surviving together and actually working together to survive. So hopefully he does live, but then if he doesn't, then I feel like he himself would accept death, because then he'd be like, he'd see that she's back with her family, back with her sister, back with her friends, and actually back with the people that she belongs in. So I think if he at least I think even if he dies on the way back, or even once they actually get him back and everything, then I feel like that he can die in knowing that he got her back to safety, and he died fulfilling that one kind of mission that he had in his heart and his mind and everything. So yeah, I think it would be a fitting end for him. But then I think because of like his newfound respect and his newfound kind of appreciation for what Michonne did to him, I feel like if they kept him around, then he could easily kind of keep paying him back and actually kind of try and be a part of the group and try and earn his keep and do all that kind of stuff. But then with this being the final season, I really don't know if they're actually going to go that far, like to actually kind of keep in a new character only to actually end the season and to end the story off there. So I don't know. But either way, I think if he dies, then he dies going out like a hero, and going out like someone who actually helped someone this time. But then if he lives, then he can keep living up to that promise, and I think knowing him, he would definitely do that too. He would actually keep living up to his promise and keep kind of trying to remember what Michonne showed him and what Michonne did for him. So yeah, I guess we can see. But yeah, that reunion at the end too between Connie and Kelly was so good. I think, but by the time they got to that fork in the road, because I think even at the beginning, I think Connie and Virgil did kind of actually have that fork in the road as well. I think the previous night, I think that they ended up at that fork in the road, and then I think with them, I think I think they were close to the area maybe, because I think Virgil did actually spot that mailbox out in front of the area where the house was. So I think they might have been close to the house, but then with Connie and with Kelly and the group, I think she spotted the two forks in the road, and she tried to figure out which one might lead to shelter and which one just kind of led back into the wilderness and everything. So seeing them actually kind of work, seeing all of them actually working together and actually being able to find Connie and Virgil safely was good to see. And even at the very end, like their reunion too was just so heartwarming and lovely after everything they've been through, after all the time they've kind of spent trying to get back to each other again. Actually seeing them being able to seeing the reunion happen at the end at least was actually really nice to see. So that was a real highlight. That was a real highlight. And then yeah, we had some stuff going down with Daryl and the Reapers too. Daryl, I think he had to interrogate Frost. And I think Frost already had been beaten to hell and back by Carver and stuff. I think with the way his eyes were bulging, I couldn't tell if they'd actually taken them out, or if they'd actually taken them out and stuffed them, or maybe if they actually. Because I mean, I'm pretty sure you can still lose your eyes like that and still not die, because I think that doesn't kill you. It's just taking your eyes out. So I thought like knowing them, you know, if they really had done the gouging the eyes and cutting the tongue out thing they did with the walkers, then maybe if they did that to Frost, then maybe, I mean, they wouldn't cut the tongue. They wouldn't cut the tongue out because they need answers from him. But then if they maybe gouged his eyes out and stuffed them with something else, maybe that's why they were bulging. Or maybe he actually did beat him so bad that his eyes were bulging that way. And stuff. So there was that. But then no, but he already beat the crap out of him, and he was still not really talkative and everything. So then with that, I think I was curious exactly how that would go with Daryl doing the interrogating too. Because then again with Frost, he knows Daryl. He knows that Daryl is originally part of Maggie's group, and I did kind of then half wonder, like, you know, like at any point would Frost at least try and cooperate, because then he knows. I think because then also like knowing that maybe the whole kind of Daryl being friendly with one of the members of this group would be a surprise to him, but then I think would Daryl and Frost not then be able to talk in code, or actually be able to communicate to each other in like a, you know, in like an encrypted sense that, okay, like we know this is a tough situation right now, so it's just gotten complicated, so now we have to actually try and cooperate and try and save each other while still giving them what they want. So maybe he would actually give them I mean, he did give them false location. I think he did give them false location, but then actually still kind of gave them something to work with. So then maybe, you know, actually prove. I think giving them a false location to keep Maggie safe, but then also actually doing Daryl a favor and actually making him look good in front of Pope, and actually still giving him, you know, semi-accurate information. Because I think it was same area as we saw with Daryl leaving behind the signal to Maggie to escape and go into the basement and everything, but then it was still different house but same area. So like a win, like a half and half for both sides. So there was that. But I think the entire time, I think it's been pretty obvious that I think Pope intends to continuously kind of test Daryl and see exactly what he's willing to do. But then I think the question kind of comes in of exactly what Pope, of exactly how far Pope will let him go to, because I think he still had Frost on the side, kind of holstering the gun, actually keeping the gun at the ready too. So then I wondered, you know, because as proven by the end, I think Pope did definitely kind of kill Frost off after he got what he needed, but then I think because I figured then maybe on the one hand it could be a thing of like, oh, once Frost gives them what they want, then they get rid of him because they have no need for him anymore, so then they actually kill him and they're just kind of like a bullet to the face or something. So maybe it made that, or seeing if like maybe actually seeing how far Daryl was willing to go, but then even for them, because he's not like an official member of the group yet, maybe then actually kind of testing him and actually kind of like stopping him before he goes too far and proves too much or tries too hard or something. So maybe it could have been either one of those. But then I think Daryl definitely cost Frost a finger. He definitely kind of didn't really hold back in that sense either. He definitely kind of used his knife and cost Frost a finger, and then Frost gave up the information. So yeah, so not really ending things on the best of terms between Frost and Daryl. Just like a very, very complicated kind of conversation they had, and just a very, very complicated kind of, you know, interaction they had in general. So didn't help either one of them in the slightest. But then I think, yeah, Daryl then did go with the squad led by Leah to actually try and scope out the area and find out if they were there. And then of course that kind of comes with its own complications, because then he has to try and save them, but then also kind of like stay neutral and stay on the side of the Reapers, and, you know, could like actually still spend that time trying to convince them to trusting him. I think Carver again. Carver. I think from the beginning, Carver has been distrustful of Daryl. He hasn't really wanted him around or wanted him on their side. He hasn't really been wanting to listen to him. So, you know, in terms of actual kind of in terms of keeping him calm and keeping him sane, that dude is just so too easy to aggravate by even saying like the smallest thing. Like, you know, like Daryl could make a passing comment, and then, you know, I think for me, you know, like that Daryl made like passing comments, but then I was just waiting for for Carver to dispute everything that Daryl said, even if he wasn't being like an asshole, or even if he wasn't being snarky. Like I was just kind of waiting for him to be like, you know, I don't take orders from you, or we're not here to follow you, or stuff along that line. So kind of hearing him kind of actually constantly pushing and testing down, actually could just constantly reiterating that he doesn't trust him and that he doesn't want to listen to him and everything, was just still made sense and everything. So there was that. But also, I think also because of the fact that I think in the first episode that we were introduced to him, I think Pope did also kind of identify Daryl as not just someone who he thought was untrustworthy from the beginning, but then also like him being like, you know, oh, I've seen the way he looks at you. He wants to get in your pants. He wants to, you know, be with you. He wants to sleep with you. He wants to do all this, that, and the other. So he knows that he's aware that Daryl and Leah have a history, but then he also aware that he's also aware of like a attachment / attraction between the two of them too. So I think he knows that. I think he's fully aware that if Daryl does stick with the Reapers, he would only be dealing with Leah, and I think he even actually mentioned it. He mentioned it in the house too, in front of Carver, like, you know, I'm not here for them. I don't give a shit about them. I don't trust any of them. But I'm here for you. I'm here for Leah. So he's made it like crystal clear, even in front of the rest of the group. So there's that. I think Pope is also like a smart enough man to know to recognize and understand the history, and actually know that means something even to this day. So I think because of that, I think he's going to be even more lenient and even more rigorous and strict with his testing of Daryl. I think he's going to test Daryl until he's sure that he and Daryl can separate Daryl's attraction and attachment to Leah to the point where Daryl would even be willing to kill Leah to actually try and keep Pope. So because I think with Pope, I think he needs everyone who works with him and works for him to be able to actually ascertain loyalty to him and maintain loyalty to him only. So, you know, loyalty to the between teammates is important too, but I think knowing him, he needs to make sure that their loyalty utmost is to him, and that they'll be willing to do anything he asks of them. So that means, I think that means that at some point he may even actually ask him to hurt or kill Leah without question, and then if he actually does attempt it, then he knows that at that point finally he's willing to let Leah go, even if it means that he can, because then that's what makes him a true Reaper too, like his attachment to the team and to Pope above all. So I don't know if we're really going to get that far. I don't know if like Daryl might escape, or if he might try and escape, or try and fight back before that happens. But then I feel like knowing Pope, that's the direction he's actually headed in and everything. So there's that. But then at the very end too, he did say that, you know, he actually kept the discussion and the interrogation going with Carver even after the group left. And I think Carver wasn't too talkative, but then eventually he gave him everything he needed, and then he actually, I think he kind of like just left him to die, and then Frost turned into a walker, and they chained him up to a tree and everything. But then, yeah, I think that look at Daryl, that little side glance at Daryl, that little kind of head tilted laugh at Daryl, be like, yeah, he gave me everything he wanted, so he gave me everything I wanted, so now he knows extra bits of information, and he was even really laughing it up with Carver as they walked back inside and everything too. So I think I'm really curious as to what happened there. So I mean, knowing Pope, he would go. Knowing Pope, he's in charge, so he would be allowed to go even farther than he would let Daryl go. So I think he likely would say stuff or do stuff that would really push Frost off the edge, and then Frost would give up everything. So he'd probably give up oh, Daryl's been with Maggie for almost as long as the apocalypse has been running. He's been with that group. He's loyal to that group, heart and soul. So he's only really here for Leah. So, you know, I mean, Frost probably doesn't know like how deep the connection runs between them, but then he'd probably still be like, you know, oh, if he's here, he's probably only here for Leah, and if he, you know, wants to go back, then he will, but then he probably won't leave without her. So then he gives him enough to really kind of show Pope that, you know, either you end him here and now, or if you really think he's a valuable asset to this group, then you really push him, you really test him, you try and make sure that his attachment is to you, and you strip him of any of that kind of former attachment to Leah as like an actual kind of interest of his, but then you make sure that any loyalty he has is predominant towards you and to the group and everything, and that he's willing to do whatever you ask him. So feel like going forward now, before he makes the ultimate escape, or before he actually kind of does leave the group entirely, we're probably going to see Pope actually fully. I think maybe that could even be what actually happens. Maybe Pope does start testing him more rigorously. Maybe Pope does start testing him more rigorously and more strictly. But then that's what makes him leave too. Like he's like, okay, now I see what Pope's trying to do, and I can't handle this anymore. So now I'm gonna, he might even actually offer Leah like a chance to go with him and to actually leave all this behind. But then otherwise he's probably gonna make it like a great run for it, and then he's gonna get back to the group and everything. So yeah, crazy stuff with the Reapers. Really just mind-melding stuff with the Reapers. So, but yeah, then Maggie and Co did escape. Maggie, I think his name was I think not you, because I kept on thinking Yuji, but there's like no, that's a completely different person. That's he's in Commonwealth, and he's also like he's the white guy in the show, so he's same as Yuji. And then I thought Ezekiel, no, not Ezekiel. Then I just kept on thinking. It's like finally, like I came up with a bunch of different names with E. I came up with like Eustachius and everything, and I was like, no, that's in Doctor Who. But then I think Elijah. I think Elijah might have been saying, I can't find the notebook. I used a different notebook to write down his name. I think Cole. I think because then I actually tried to remember pairings too. Because I think yeah, Elijah and Cole were properly introduced together. So I think Elijah and Cole were like that kind of pair, like the pairing of those two names is how I then remembered it. So I remember, oh, it's Elijah. So Elijah, then Gabriel, then Negan and Maggie. So they were the four in the house. So the Maggie caught Daryl's sign that they were there, and then they escaped to the basement, and then didn't really cover. I mean, to be fair, they couldn't, because then I think you can't really cover up with the rug as you're closing the door, as you're going under. So then Daryl caught onto that and actually tried to cover up as best he could, but still didn't do a good enough job. I think he still left like the teeniest kind of corner of the door out, which Carver then clocked and everything. So that happened. But then even after that, I think they were under the basement for a good while. They were in the basement for a good while, actually just kind of listening to Daryl's conversation with Leah, going and everything. So I think they were in there for a good while. But then afterwards, they actually did manage to fully escape and actually climb out from under the house and everything, and actually make their way to safety. So they made it. So I think props to Daryl for actually doing what you could on both ends. Like Daryl was literally working both ends, right? Like he's like a much more tense version of that, like that meme from I think it's from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I think it might be from that show. I'm not entirely sure, but I think that meme of the guy being like, oh, I'm playing both sides, so I always come out on top. So I think right now that is Daryl. He is actively playing both Maggie's kind of compatriot and also like he's playing Maggie's kind of like family and friends and everything, and he's also playing like playing goody with the Reapers to try and actually stay on their good side too. So he really is. I mean he's trying. I think most of all he's trying to get back to his people. He's trying to get back to his family, but then he's also temporarily, as the current situation calls for it, he is trying to play goody with the Reapers and trying to play by their rules. So yeah, Daryl is a kind of master adapter. He's a master adapter. So yeah, but they made out. Maggie and Co made out, so that was good. That was good. And yeah, I think that is pretty much all I actually have from this episode. A nice, I think not necessarily self-contained, but I think not necessarily self-contained, but I think it only really did focus on those three kind of groups. It did focus on Connie and Virgil, and then Leah and the Reapers, and then also very briefly, like briefly here and there, like Kelly and then the others actually trying to find Connie and everything. So I think things kind of interconnected, and things kind of took their own pace and went their own directions and everything. But yeah, I think it was like a nicely paced and really nicely kind of sectioned and sequenced kind of episode. So it was a fun one. It was a good one. I think in terms of horror and tension and drama, just really off the charts and everything. So props to everyone involved in that regard. So yeah, that's pretty much all my initial thoughts from this one. So yeah, that was The Walking Dead season 11, episode number 6. So thank you guys as always so much for being here and for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then absolutely feel free to leave a like and comment any thoughts you had, how you felt about this episode, and what direction you think they're going to be taking with Connie and Virgil and Kelly and all of them, and even with Pope and Daryl, and how you think he's going to kind of find things going forward, and what kind of steps you think Pope might take, and any kind of thoughts you have on this kind of on this season going forward, and any theories you got, absolutely feel free to leave them. Full-length reaction for those interested is over on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there too. But yeah, that is it for now. So until the next time, bye bye for now.